What if I told you that some places never forget? Their walls soaked in secrets, their grounds tainted by the footsteps of lost souls, forever trapped between this world and the next. Welcome to Fox Hollow Farm, an estate in Indiana that hides one of the darkest, most haunting stories in modern American history. This isn't just a ghost story. It's also a true crime tale that will send shivers down your spine. But before we dive in, some of the details in this story are disturbing and may not be suitable for all audiences, so viewer discretion is strongly advised. As always, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications to stay up to date with our uploads. Alright, let's dive into the video. In the 1980s, Fox Hollow Farm appeared as any other fine residence in Hamilton County, Indiana. There were 18 acres of green, sprawling yard around the house, a big and beautiful house indeed. To outsiders, it appeared to be an ideal neighborhood for Herb Baumeister together with his wife Juliana and their children. The Baumeisters appeared to be perfectly normal. Herb had a string of thrift stores called Save-A-Lot, and his family resided in one of Indiana's wealthiest neighborhoods. But things are not always as they seem. Growing up, Herb stood out. He would do strange things like imitating a dead man in school in the presence of other classmates. He had problems holding employment and was very rude to people as he got older.
Maybe his name might not be as recognizable as Dahmer or Gacy or people like that, but I think his actions certainly parallel, if not takes him to the forefront.
Juliana, his wife, had appreciated he would sometimes mutter to himself and perform other weird things, but she dismissed these early signs. People who were living close to the Baumeisters considered them to be slightly odd. Herb was a man who used to be seen working in his yard in the night. They have few friends, and they don't entertain a lot, so their house looks nearly deserted even if they actually live there. Herb began to isolate himself from people and began spending huge amounts of time alone. He would take off for hours on end without any explanation as to where he was going. His behavior at home had become rather peculiar. He had become either very shy and/or aggressive for apparently no reason at all. His wife and children could never tell what mood he was in. His store was deeply in the red, but he was somehow able to hide this from everyone. Herb was always up to something else while his family thought he was at the store during the night, and it was the last thing they could have expected. In the early 1990s, Herbert discovered the idea of frequenting gay bars in Indianapolis, Indiana. Although they looked like polite patrons, he had ill intentions towards them. He would target young men in these bars and offer to buy them drinks. People believed him because he had charm, a welcoming smile, and was easygoing. But once he had gained their confidence, he would then lead them to his huge home in the outskirts of the city. Herbert's estate seemed like a normal home. It was rather an immense dwelling which was set well to the rear and hidden from view by the trees. Inside, he has actually constructed an indoor swimming pool. This particular room would later transform into his house of horror. The police would later learn that Herbert would take his victims to the pool area. There, he would sexually strangle them. Due to the walls of the pool room reflected sounds in a rather abnormal manner, and the place was so vast that nobody was able to hear the events that took place inside. Herbert hid his horrible acts for many years. Among all things, he was extremely cautious with disposing of related materials. He would carry their bodies, the dead men that he killed, into the nearby woods at the back of his house, where he believed no one or nothing could ever discover the scattered human remains.
In the summer of 1996, a shocking discovery on a Westfield horse farm.
The woods have yielded more bones and more bodies. This latest discovery only deepens the mystery about the identity of the victims and the reasons why they never made it out of this gently rolling estate in Hamilton County.
This might have continued for some time longer, but in 1996, his wife Juliana discovered something that truly horrified her. She fully realized that she had to inform the police what she had found out about their house. What the police officers found on Herbert's property shocked the community. They increased their search effort and found hundreds of human bones that were buried all around the woods. With much effort, they could show that in turn, at least 11 different individuals had been murdered. However, police estimate that Herbert must have slain many other young men whose bodies were never discovered. It established how Herbert had managed to pull wool over everybody's eyes. On the surface, to his neighbors, he appeared to be a normal, genial citizen. They never thought that the nice-mannered man was a heartless killer who would single out young men who only wanted company or love. It also transformed the missing persons reports filed to the Indianapolis police, especially those involving the gay population. They began paying attention when young men went missing, because even a friendly passerby may be an aggressive offender.
Tranquil Fox Hollow Farm near Westfield. Gruesome discovery. Human bones and fragments, first believed to have been what remained of 7 victims.
For years after the death of Herb Baumeister, Fox Hollow Farm sat vacant. Despite its size and well-maintained appearance, people had no desire to purchase the house after the murder occurred. With no one left to maintain the property, it had soon began to fall apart. The grass swelled while flowers and bushes overtook the paved area. The water in the beautiful pool stained green. Then the Martinez family came along after conducting a 4-month search for a new location. The price was within budget, and they convinced themselves that the horrible things that occurred there are no more, and maybe were never really true to begin with. Sarah Martinez would say to her husband Miguel when they both signed the papers, "We can make this place happy again." But they would be wrong. Immediately upon the family moving into the house, on the very first night, weird things started occurring. Their daughter Isabella began hearing voices. She told her mom she heard voices coming from the hallway. But, of course, when Sarah checked, the hallways were clear and the lights were off. Another occurrence was when Miguel was awoken by loud footsteps in the kitchen, but when he got up to look, there was no one there. Their dog Rex would start barking at corners that were empty. The TV would be switched on by itself and it would only display staticky channels. The house definitely appeared to come alive at night. But the worst of it had to be in the pool area. There was something truly unsettling in there. There would be pool toys all over the house even if nobody had been swimming. The lights of the pool would suddenly turn on at night. There were huge stars and enormous rising scrub growing out of the sand. But one evening when Miguel came to ensure that the pool gate was locked, he saw him, a tall man silently standing at one end of the pool. He dressed archaic and was just observing the waters before him. Miguel screamed and started advancing towards the intruder. But as he approached, the man gradually turned and looked him straight in the eyes. Miguel froze. He could clearly see through the man to the trees beyond him. Then, just like that, the figure was gone. The Martinez family was forced to adapt to living with these unwanted guests. They stopped going in the pool area after dusk. They ignored the voices and the sound of footsteps. But the most chilling of all was that in the dead of the night, the lights in the pool began to flicker, as if something was trying to lure them out there. According to local paranormal enthusiasts, the souls are forever lingering in that place, living through their final moments. The Martinez family never revealed a lot of what they witnessed, but their neighbors noticed that they never went for a swim in their swimming pool, and their curtains were drawn after sunset. History seems to linger on in some places. Fox Hollow Farm is one of them. Not even the paranormal experts could have expected what they encountered. The Ghost Search Society conducted a 3-night investigation at Fox Hollow Farm. They came armed with equipment designed for picking up voices and monitoring heat signatures. What they captured was truly disturbing. The investigation team captured the voices of people asking for help. On their camcorder, they saw moving illuminated amorphous figures passing through walls. And in the pool area, they noticed that when night falls, the temperature would drastically drop, so much so that you could actually see your breath. According to paranormal investigators, the ghosts still haunt the Fox Hollow Farm. According to such legends, the victims' souls are trapped there, forced to relive their deaths over and over again. Several investigations at Fox Hollow Farm have given some really good evidence. Spirit boxes, EMF detectors, and thermal cameras have all picked up inexplicable activity. The most frightening proof comes from EVP audio recordings captured at the site. Electronic voice phenomena, or EVP, is the sounds found on electronic recordings that are interpreted as spirit voices. So, when the ghost hunters played back their recordings, what the equipment picked up was absolutely horrifying. The content of the recordings included people crying out for help and faint sounds of people laughing. But what was most unsettling of all was the recording of what sounded like Herb Baumeister's voice, and he seemed to be making fun of the investigators.
Is there anybody here with us right now?
It stopped and looked at me. And I saw that twice. Moved here back June of last year, I saw it.
It is widely believed that these are the victims of Herbert Baumeister. This has led to a debate that the young men buried there cannot find eternal rest because their deaths were brutal. People have said that they heard a number of unknown footsteps, observed dark figures moving across the rooms, and felt the cold areas within the house. People have labeled Fox Hollow as one of the most haunted houses in Indiana. Many others who have visited the area, including the investigators, the current owners of the building, and anybody who watches movies, have reported strange incidents in the area. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the story of Fox Hollow Farm leaves behind a haunting question. Can places truly hold on to the energy of the past? Well, perhaps some doors are meant to remain closed. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then check out these videos on the screen now. If you have a topic suggestion, please send it to the email in the description. And as always, remember to like, comment, share the video, and subscribe to our channel. And remember, the only thing scarier than this story is missing out on our next video.